So to simulate a PO receipt, I'll click on the PO receipt screen, and then here you can see the warehouse guy only needs to decide whether it's a single receipt, a multiple receipt, or maybe a receipt without PO. So all three functionalities are standard to Sage 300 purchase order. So for today, let's just do a single PO receipt. And here you can see that I should be scanning the PO number. So ideally, the PO form already contains the barcode for the PO number. I can type it in, or of course I can just do a search. So this is now searching for open POs. And right now, for example, I'm receiving PO number 30 with the reference of testing. I can click on the detail button, and this is now extracting the PO to be received details. I can scan again the items that I'm receiving. So ideally, these items would be in front of the warehouse guy with the labels, so he can just scan it in one go. I can just double click on the line, or I can just type it in. So for example, if I'm receiving 25 pieces, let's say for RM001, let's receive 25 pieces as well. This is now actually the warehouse guy posting a PO receipt to Sage 300. So the receipt 84 is actually the same record in Sage purchase order receipt. So the last record is receipt 84, and you can see that we have here PM001 and RM001 with 25 pieces each. So there is no difference whether I use the Sage PO receipt entry screen or the barcode to do it. This is basically what we have just done, is empower the warehouse guy to use a handheld maybe or a tablet, use the Wi-Fi connection to post a transaction straight to Sage 300. So that was actually already a receipt. If we are dealing with items with lot tracking, I can do another example using, let's say, the receipt without PO. So here I'm just selecting a vendor to receive against. This time I want to receive something with lot. So let's say it's RM101. If I want to receive 10, and you can see that the system automatically detected that this item is lot tracked. I can actually choose to manually scan the lot, but if you want to use internally generated lot numbers, same as in Sage 300, you can just automatically generate. You can see here the lot detail, the quantity, expiry date, and then I can just. So this is an example of a PO receipt for items with lot tracking. And if we go now to Sage PO receipt, you would see here we have receipt 85 with the lot details that we have just created. So there is no change in the logic of PO receipt from Sage 300. The main difference that we have done is who is doing it, how he is doing it, and when is it actually posted to Sage. So with the barcode solution, everything can be real time. So of course, if we wanted to do a return for whatever reason, we can just click on PO return. Again, I have a choice here, whether it's a single PO return or a return without receipt number. So this is standard to Sage. Let's say I want to do a return against the receipt that we just posted. So it was receipt 84. And this time, for example, for PM001, for whatever reason, I want to return 7. For PM002, let's say for whatever reason, I want to return 8. I can then close. So if we go back to Sage PO, transaction, return entry, the last record here would be return number 2, and you can see that we have just posted a return of 7 and 8 for the two items involved. Let's say we want to quickly demonstrate OE shipment or the barcode order entry module. So same as in Sage, I can click on the OE shipment button here. I have the option to either post a single SO shipment or a multiple SO shipment. So again, this is standard to Sage 300. If I click on single SO shipment, I can then select which sales orders we want to ship out. So let's say if I have order 67 maybe. Here I have two products that I can ship. I can then scan the item number that I'm picking, or I can type it in. If I wanted to, I can just double click, and here I can indicate the quantity that we want to ship. So let's say it's 8, and then for FG002, let's say I want to ship 9. At this point, notice that the system also checks if there is sufficient stocks to do this shipment. Assuming that you allow this in Sage to have negative stock, then we can just click post, and this is now a OE shipment triggered by the barcode module. So you can see we have shipment 63 on Sage order entry. We can now look at shipment entry, and the last record should be the last one that we created, order 63, and you can see here 9 and 8 was shipped already based on what we have just posted. So that's basically how a OE shipment will be posted in the barcode module. Now, if we go to the return, you would be able to see here that we can do a shipment return or an invoice return. So in Sage 300, allowing us to reverse a prior shipment, which is not yet invoiced. So I can do a shipment return. All I have to do is scan the shipment number that I wish to reverse. So let's do a quick search and let's pick the last record. So this is the item that we just shipped. Let's say for whatever reason I want to return 2 of this. So you have 2 for finished good number 2, and then let's say for FG003 I just want to return 1. So 2, 1, and then I can post. What you can see here is the barcode would now be reposting shipment number 63, just as what we would expect it to do in Sage 300. If I now go back and refresh shipment 63, you would now see that the system already triggered a adjustment in the quantity shipped. So we now have 77 after we have posted the return. Now, to demonstrate quickly the invoice return, this requires us to create the invoice first in Sage order entry. So let me just quickly create an invoice in Sage. So again, this is a back office transaction that of course we don't expect the warehouse people to be doing. This should be the accounting people posting the invoice. So now we have invoice 62 created on the Sage 300 order entry. Going back to the barcode, we can now go to the invoice return. Here I can search for the invoice that we want to return against. So it's invoice 62, and here you can see the same details as what we have shipped earlier. So for whatever reason, let's say we want to return 2 of this and 3 of FG003. We can post, and this is now a OE shipment, OE invoice return. You can see that the system triggered the posting of a credit note number 3, and this is the same record as invoice credit note in Sage order entry. So here we would see that the last credit note is credit note number 3 with the following details that we have just posted on the barcode. So that's a very quick introduction to barcode OE processing. So now for barcode IC, let's start with the internal usage. So this is of course referring to the inventory control internal usage functionality in IC. A common use for internal usage could be sampling or scrapping of raw materials. So same as in Sage, we basically select where we are doing the internal usage, which category code to use. I can put a description here. So let's say this is scrap, and then who is doing it. So I can enter Terrence. I can go to the detail, and then I can select which item do we want to scrap. So for this example, let's use A1103. how many. So let's say 3. Of course, I can scan another one. So let's say A105. Let's grab 2. And at this point, we can post. So this is now a scrap transaction posted using the barcode inventory control basic module. If we go to inventory control, transaction, internal usage, you would see here that we have internal usage number 3 with the following details. So again, we are not changing the logic of Sage. It's just how we are doing it, who is doing it, and when it is being posted into Sage 300. So that's internal usage. If we want to do a stock transfer, so take for example, if you want to move a certain raw material from location 1 to location 2, you can do that using the transfer functionality. So here you can see the 3 transfer options. For this demo, let's use the one-step transfer. You can see that I can select where am I getting it from, moving it to which location. In Sage 300, you can also put additional costs incurred by the transfer. I can put description references, but let's say for today, I just want to move, let's say, item A103 from location 1 to 2 for a quantity of 5. For A105, let's see, I'll just search again. I want to move 6. So of course, you can scan if you have a barcode gun, or if you're using a handheld, or you can just type or search. So at this point, I would post, and this is actually now a stock transfer number 3 that has been posted on the Sage server. So we can go to inventory control, transactions, transfer, and the last record here would be transfer number 3, which we have just posted a while ago. So it's as simple as that. For transit transfer, it's roughly the same. It's just that you're moving it to a transit location before you move it to the final location. If we are doing physical counts on a periodic basis, what we want now to happen is to enable the warehouse personnel to record what they have counted as they move from one rack or from one pallet to another. So to do that, we need the warehouse person to first generate a worksheet within Sage. So that is done using the IC physical inventory. We want to generate an inventory worksheet. So let's say the scope is from location 1 for items RM, let's say 01 to RM 010. Note that we don't want the system to auto-populate the quantity on hand. This is because we want the barcode to be the one to populate that information. So this generates a worksheet, and of course this is standard to Sage. What you will have here is now a physical inventory quantity for that count sheet, and this is what we want to populate. So going back now to the barcode, I can go to the stock count, indicate the location involved, extract the detail, and you can see that this is now the items that I have to process. So in the real world, we expect the warehouse to scan the labels of the items as they are doing their count. Of course, I can double click again, but let's say in my example, I saw or counted 88 of RM001. For RM003, I counted 99. For RM005, I counted 111. Maybe after a while, I need to go on a break, let's say smoking or coffee break. So I can post, and this is now updated into the count in Sage 300. If we refresh, so let's reopen the physical inventory count sheet, you would see here that for location 1, the system has already encoded the counted quantities on the floor. So after the break, the warehouse guy can come back, continue the count. So for location 1 detail, you can see the system displays what he has already previously counted, and he can now proceed to doing another count. So maybe he sees more of RM001, I see 77, for RM002, I see 66. Eventually, he would complete the count, he would post, and this is now either added or updating the prior count. So this allows the user the option to correct previously counted items. But if there was no correction, I can just click on add, and this will accumulate the count. So if again we go back to Sage, refresh, you would now see that for the physical inventory quantities for location 1, this is now the total. So that's a quick demonstration of the stock count functionality for the barcode inventory.